Alrighty, folks, like I said in my earlier video this morning, I'm feeling great here on a Sunday because I'm now 5-0 in my last 5 board member tier package plays on my website. And the good news is I have another board member tier package play going off here today. The math works out to be just $1.66 a day for 30 days of service in that membership. If you sign up here today, I also cashed in on 3 other personal plays on my website yesterday as well. I had the Twins and the Rays in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Got the job done in both of those. We also had the Dodgers and the Astros in an alternate run line parlay, which we cashed on as well. And the only way you could have accessed all of those winners yesterday is to be a chairman member on my website. Chairman members get access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Diamondbacks at the Blue Jays, 1:37 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's minus $1.65, totals 9.5. Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto, Tommy Henry for Arizona. Now the lefty Henry's recorded only 1 loss this season through 74 plus. Henry's 5-1 with an ERA in the 3s. The D-backs also have little issue producing runs, especially on the road. They're in the top 3 in the National League in run production while traveling. Christian Walker's the team leader in homers and RBI. Ketel Marte is the club leader in hits. They're facing Yusei Kikuchi, who's allowed his fair share of earned runs this year himself. The lefty comes into today's matchup with an ERA in the 4s. The Blue Jays also took the loss in 3 out of Kikuchi's last 6 starts. 3 out of Toronto's last 4 at home got over the total. Give me Arizona plus 1.5. Over 9.5 runs. Next game, Dodgers-Mets, 1:40 p.m. East. The New York Mets are minus $1.20, totals 8.5. Max Scherzer for New York, Bobby Miller for Los Angeles. Now Miller's 5-1 on the year with a 1.23 whip. When it comes to offensive production, the Dodgers score more runs a game on the road than any other lineup besides one. Freddie Freeman's got the 5th highest batting average and OPS average in the majors. Mookie Betts has 204 total bases and an OPS close to 1,000. They're facing Max Scherzer here today, who no longer looks invincible. The righty comes into today's matchup with a 4.31 ERA. The Mets are also having all kinds of problems at the plate. They're averaging only 7.1 hits a game per 9 on their home field. That's actually worst in the National League. Starling Marte is questionable for New York. Chris Taylor inactive for Los Angeles. 7 out of the Dodgers' last 10 outings against New York fell under the total. If you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. The Mets saw 3 out of their last 4 at Citi Field stay under the number as well. Give me the Dodgers plus $1, under 8.5. Next matchup, Brewers-Reds, 1:40 p.m. East. Cincinnati's minus $1.30, totals 10.5. Ben Lively for Cincinnati, Adrian Hauser for Milwaukee. Hauser's recorded only 2 losses this year, has an ERA in the 3s. Meanwhile, as a team, the Brewers won 7 out of their last 10. And that includes 4 wins over the Cincinnati Reds during that stretch. As a matter of fact, guys, the Brewers have pitched shutouts in their last 3 straight games, and obviously all those were against Cincinnati. And speaking of the Reds, they're now playing just .500 baseball at the Great American Ballpark. Even worse than that, they're winning only 40% of their divisional home games. Now, the biggest issue this season at home has been their pitching. These guys allow just about 6 runs a game in their own ballpark. Starting pitcher Ben Lively, he also comes into today's matchup with a losing 4-5 record. Rowdy Tellez is still out for Milwaukee. The Brewers are 60% to the under in their divisional road games. Meanwhile, the Reds saw the under cash in 6 out of their last 10. Give me the Brewers plus $1.10, under 10.5. Next matchup, Rays, Royals, 2:10 Eastern first pitch. Tampa Bay is minus 220, totals 9.5. Zach Eflin for Tampa Bay, Brady Singer for Kansas City. Now, Singer's just 5-8 on the season with an ERA close to 6. These Royals hitters are also scoring just 3.7 runs a game. That's worst in the majors except for Oakland. They're going to have to face 10-win Zach Eflin, who's got 105 strikeouts and a .99 whip. And even if Eflin has a bad start, the Rays are a top 3 run-producing team in the American League. Luke Raley's got an OPS average in the 900s. Randy Arozarena leads the roster in runs batted in. Yandy Diaz is still out for the Rays. Olivares and Beatty still inactive for KC. 6 out of Tampa's last 10 ball games fell under the total. Kansas City went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me Tampa Bay minus 1.5, under 9.5 runs. Next ball game, Nats Cards, 2:15 Eastern start time. St. Louis is $1.80, total 9. Jack Flaherty for St. Louis, Josiah Gray for Washington. Gray's got 92 strikeouts on the season with an ERA in the 3s. Believe it or not, folks, the Nats have little problems getting base runners. They're in the top 5 in hits per game. They also strike out fewer times a game at the plate than any other lineup in baseball. Keibert Ruiz has struck out only 29 times in 287 at-bats. Lane Thomas, he has 109 hits on the year. Top 10 in the National League in batting average. They're facing Jack Flaherty on the bump, who's got an ERA in the 4s and a sloppy 1.56 whip. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. These Cards pitchers give up double-digit hits a game at home. That's most in the National League. Andrew Kisner's still out for St. Louis. Tommy Edman also inactive. St. Louis went 60% to the over in their last 10. Washington saw their last 3 straight on the road get over the total themselves. Give it the Nationals plus 1.5, over 9. Next matchup, Red Sox, Cubs, 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Chicago's $1.50 at home, total 9.5. Justin Steele for Chicago, Cutter Crawford for Boston. Crawford's just 3-4 on the season with an ERA in the 4s. These Boston pitchers have also given up a whole bunch of hits. They're in the bottom 5 in the American League in hits allowed per contest. They're facing a Chicago lineup who loves to hit at Wrigley. These guys are in the top 10 in runs per game on their own field. Chris Morel's got an OPS in the 900s. Cody Bellinger's hitting .305. Now, as a team, the Cubbies scored 26 total runs in Justin Steele's last 4 starts. All were victories, by the way. Rios, Madrigal, and Swanson still out for Chicago. Reyes and McGuire inactive for Boston. The Red Sox saw their last 4 road games all get over the total. Chicago's 8-2 to the over in their last 10. Give me the Cubs minus $1.50, over 9.5. Next ball game, Guardians Rangers, 2:35 East. Texas is $1.30, total 9. Martin Perez for Texas, Tanner Bybee for Cleveland. And even though Bybee's been good this year, the Guardians lost their last 3 straight. And they scored only 5 total runs during that skid. When it comes to offensive woes, the Guardians are in the bottom 5 in the majors in runs per game. They're facing a Ranger team who won 6 out of their last 9 Martin Perez starts. They scored 53 total runs during that time frame. And speaking of runs, this is the highest producing lineup of runs in baseball. They score more runs than any other team. Adolis Garcia, he has more RBI than any other player in the game. Corey Seager hits .355 for the Rangers with an OPS in the thousands. 6 out of Texas's last 10 meetings with Colorado got over the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. They're also 9-5 to the over in their last 14 Martin Perez starts. Give me the Rangers minus 130, over 9. Next matchup, Yankees-Rockies, 3:10 Eastern start time. New York's 225, totals 11. Garrett Cole for New York, Chase Anderson for Colorado. Anderson's yet to record a win through 44 plus. He's 0-4 with an ERA of 7.66. The Rockies allow more runs a game at home than any other team in the league. They're facing a Yankee club who's got a .600 win percentage against the National League. They also have one of the best pitchers in the majors on the bump today in Garrett Cole. The righty's 9-2 with an ERA in the 2s. Cole's also punched out 123 batters, and he has a 1.12 whip. Judge and Bowers are still out for New York. Randall Grichuk questionable for Colorado. Chase Anderson's last 5 starts all got over. The Bombers went 60% to the over in their last 10. Give me the Yankees -1.5, over 11. Next matchup, Twins, A's, 407 East. Minnesota's the $2 favorite, totals 8 runs. Joe Ryan for Minnesota, J.P. Sears for Oakland. Despite numerous good outings out of Sears, the A's don't want to win for the guy. He's recorded just 1 win this season in 99-plus innings. The A's still have the worst record in baseball, and they score the fewest amount of runs. They got to face Joe Ryan here today, who's got 8 wins on the season and an ERA in the 3s. Ryan's also struck out 124 batters and has a 1.01 whip. Now, these Minnesota pitchers have been the toughest to hit this year when they're on the road. They allow fewer runs per 9 on the road than any other staff in the league. They also lead the majors in strikeouts on the road as well. Polanco, Gordon, Lewis, and Miranda are out for Minnesota. Pena, Smith, and Ruiz out for Oakland. The A's went 80% to the under in their last 10 J.P. Sears starts. Minnesota's 26-19 to the under when they hit first. Give me the Twins -1.5, under 8. Next game, Tigers, Mariners, 4:10 Eastern first pitch. Seattle's a $1.70, totals 8. Bryce Miller for the Mariners, Reese Olson for Detroit. Now, Olson's got just 1 win on the year with an ERA in the 4s. Now, the Tigers also, well, they can't hit for shit. They're averaging a league-low 7.5 hits a game on the road. They've got to face Bryce Miller, who's got an ERA in the 3s, along with a .95 whip. These Seattle pitchers as a whole, they've also shown exceptional control. They walk just 2.5 batters a game, which is a league low. 6 out of Seattle's last 10 outings fell under the number. Detroit went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Mariners -170, under 8. Next and final matchup, it is going to be Astros at the Angels, 7:10 Eastern start time at Angels Stadium. Houston's -1.25 on the road, totals 10 runs. Christian Javier for Houston, Tyler Anderson for Los Angeles. And even though Anderson's had his fair share of shaky outings, the lefties recorded, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, the lefties recorded just 2 losses in 84 innings. So he hasn't been great. Gives up a lot of runs, a lot of hits. Doesn't lose many games. Once again, Anderson just 2 losses through 84 innings. And more recently, the Angels scored 43 total runs in their last 8 outings. They're facing a Houston team who lost 4 out of their last 6 themselves. And even though Christian Javier has got a good record, he does currently have an ERA of 4.34. Altuve and Alvarez are still out for Houston. Trout, Rendon, Drury, and Adele out for Los Angeles. The Angels went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Houston saw 3 out of their last 4 on the road get over the total themselves. Give me the Angels +105, over 10. With that, folks, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Arizona Diamondbacks +1.5, over 9.5. Dodgers +$1, under 8.5. Milwaukee +$1.10, under 10.5. Tampa Bay minus 1.5, under 9.5. Washington plus 1.5, over 9. Cubs minus 150, over 9.5. Texas minus 130, over 9. Yankees minus 1.5, over 11. Twins minus 1.5, under 8. Mariners minus 170, under 8. Angels plus 105, over 10.